Everything old is new again. America's entertainment pop culture talk show.
It may well possess a rudimentary intelligence.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Felt a great disturbance in the force.
Hello, I'm Mr. Red.
Come on, bark like a dog for me.
Where's the goodies?
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
I bet you wouldn't have done anything like this if Mom and Dad were here.
You filthy criminal.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Here are your hosts, Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
This is Douglas Viviani along with
David Cohen.
And we're pulling ourselves away from the holiday party here at Everything Old is New Again.
Yeah, having a great time. And we wanted to just give a shout out to our listeners this holiday season.
And thank you for listening and looking forward to New Year's. So happy holidays. And along with all of our characters, Bradford Wells is here, barbecue and fondue guys, Holmes and Watson, Pumpkinhead, Captain Balzac, Bernie Brillstein, the whole gang is here.
And we all just wanted to say Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
There we go. Welcome to Everything Old is New Again. Happy New Year from us. This is Douglas Viviani with our very own character himself, David Cohen.
Yes, happy to do another wrap-up show.
Yes, and we're now into the new year, but this is looking back at 2019, the best of Everything Old is New Again. It was so good we had to do actually 2 shows of the best of.
We did so many good things. There just wasn't enough room for one show.
Correct. And if you go back on the website, everythingoldisnewagain.biz, that's .biz, you could see our other Everything Old is New Again best of shows for the prior years and give you a little flavor as to what we're all about.
And these best of shows are so good themselves, they may qualify for the best of 2020.
I have to apologize
shows.
a little bit for this year's, where I think it's okay to be ourselves, and it's what we are. And that's actually different, so that's where we're at. Because every other best of show, we've done some shtick, we've done Everything Old is New Again brought to you by, barbecue and fondue guys.
Right.
We were on the Letterman show. We went back in time. We went forward in time. We had Holmes and Watson review our show. So we had a lot of creative stuff there. Honestly, I ran out of gas. I couldn't come up with any. I was always going to do it as a telethon, but then I couldn't figure out how to actually do that as the guests, and I just want to play clips. I don't want to,
I think keeping it simple is a good way to go.
That's what it is. So this year, 2020, let's put it this way. We're beginning the year simply. We're going to get complicated. We're going to do lots of stuff with characters. We're going to do lots of stuff with celebrity guests. And most importantly, David and I just examining pop culture, where it came from, why it's popular today, the particular genre, and acknowledging that the foundation of everything that we listen to today is based upon the giants, if you will, or the people from the past.
Absolutely true.
And the best.
Except us, we're complete originals.
Exactly. We're a subset.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. We
outliers.
Exactly. We are different from the radio, though. Has anyone done what we're doing on the radio in the past? In other words, did Gene Shepard do this? No, he was original and created his own stories, his own persona, which was terrific. I love him. But he didn't examine. Well, he did examine pop culture, but not with the clips and the fun that we do it with.
No, this is completely original, which these days is pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, the closest I can get is Gene Shepard, because he would examine pop culture and just do monologues about it. But
there's only one of him.
Right.
And there's 2 of us.
Exactly. So we're twice as good as Gene Shepard. How about that? And if you don't know who Gene Shepard is, he's the narrator and the writer of Christmas Story. And I'm sure he would recoil right now by only being known for that.
Right.
And if you wanted to watch that movie, he's the guy.
The narrator.
But he's the
kid.
Yes, but he's also one of the kids in line for Santa, and this one adult with the beard says to him, "You're next, kid. What are you doing? Whatever. You're gonna poke your eye out, kid." He's the guy with the beard. That's
really?
Gene Shepard.
I did not know that.
All right, so it's always something new. How about that? Now, we spoke about barbecue and fondue guy. We've had fun with them in the past, and hopefully you enjoy them. Let's hear a little smidge of show 269, where they joined us for a little barbecue in the summer. We usually have a barbecue with them in July. So it's artichokes and honey is what you're telling me. There's no butter involved?
Never mind. Well, let's move on.
It's a green leaf. I might as well. There's a tree here. I could have a piece of bark. It would taste better than an artichoke. Holy smokes.
As long as your bark is not worse than your bite.
There you go. Now, those shows are completely ad lib, other than we'll have a recipe or two.
Oh, yeah, completely improvised. If you couldn't tell.
But, I mean, that barbecue guy hates the vegetables.
And I always, his barbecue guy, sometimes he sounds like he's from Boston.
Yes.
Because an artichoke. And other times he sounds like he's from Chicago.
Yep.
He kind of moves around
He's
a lot.
well-traveled. He was explaining that in one of the first shows that he went to school in New England, so he picked up the accent there a little bit. And that's the best I'm going to get on that. So we have some fun with those two. If you enjoy those characters, please write to us and suggestion for any other characters at everythingoldisnewagain.biz. There's a spot there. You can send us a note on the website, or at everythingoldisnewagain.biz, or you could just go and send us a note by the email, which would be oldnewagain@aol.com. That's oldnewagain@aol.com. Further, if you want to, I don't know, it's time for us to ask for a little bit of help. What do you think about that?
I think so.
And it's not help, it's joining the club. You're joining the team. We're a rocket on the way up. And so now the question is, are you going to join on board and help make us national? We're in 40 stations now in 23 states. Let's make it, 200 stations in 50 states with your help. What do you say about that?
Listen, the more the merrier. Come on along.
Exactly. So the way to do that, there's a couple different ways. One of which is to contact your radio station through their website, or through, they'll have an email, or by making a phone call.
Any local radio station.
Any local station, mostly talk stations, and let them know that this show exists. Give them the website, everythingoldisnewagain.biz. That's everythingoldisnewagain.biz. And they will, look us up and see if there's a spot there for stations or potential affiliates to listen to us. There's some sample shows there, or bits of shows that they can hear, and maybe you'd be responsible. And if you are doing that, contact us at oldnewagain@aol.com. and let us know you did it. We'll follow up, and if we get signed on to that station, we will send you an Everything Old is New Again package of paraphernalia from us. Pens,
merch,
shirt.
Baby. We got a whole merch.
We got
table
merchandise,
here.
exactly. A shirt, all kind of stuff. If we get signed up, you get a nice bonus. And how about this? If we get signed up on a station near you because of your efforts, we'll have you on the show.
Yep,
for a whole hour.
We'll have you. You will be our guest. No kidding.
Exactly, for an hour.
Yeah.
You can participate. Pick a topic.
Or less if you'd like. Right. Some people are a little intimidated by talking about themselves for an hour, but we're not.
Well, what we could do is
however long you want to do it.
We could talk about them, and then we could also talk about what they like about our show. So it's enough about you. How about a little bit more about us? But besides that, we can have you pick a topic, you the listener, whatever topic, Transformers you love, whatever. We'll develop a show based on a topic that you select. As long as, your efforts have been, or to recognize your efforts, let's put it that way.
And, of course, if you like the show, tell your friends, tell your family about it, spread the word. The more listeners we have, the better chances are for us becoming more nationally recognized and more accessible to everybody out there.
And to continue the show. I mean, we need to have compliments to either from listeners that are hearing the show on a station already that's carrying it. We need you to contact that station, not necessarily to carry it, because it already is carrying it, but to say, hey, thanks for the entertainment. Thanks for carrying Everything Old is New Again. I really enjoy it. And, some stations are running us, 2 times a week, because people have done that and said, I love the show, but I missed it last week. What about it? And they say, let's play the show twice on a weekend.
Right.
And we've got 3 or 4 stations that do that. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, I think that's part of the game here for the new year, is to reach out a little bit and try to get all of us to be on the same page, such as the Facebook page. If you want to go to Facebook, look for us on Facebook and just pull up Everything Old is New Again, not .biz, just Everything Old is New Again. And you will see our Facebook page. We put shows on there all the time, and other pictures and paraphernalia and quotes and things and clips. It's just a lot of fun. So I guess that's enough of that. Let's listen to Barbecue and Fondue talk a little more about about a barbecue and vegetables.
This is called grilled vegetable salad with couscous.
Oh, this will win them over. Go ahead.
And
vegetables. Hey, kids, we're cooking vegetables soon. You ready to come out of the pool for the vegetables? They're not moving.
Well, you didn't tell them about the couscous and the herb pesto.
Where am I, in Casablanca? Couscous. You mean rice?
I think that herb pesto will get any kid out of a pool.
Herb pesto. Leo, you want some herb pesto.
I just can't seem to.
There might be somebody listening that wants some vegetables at a barbecue. You'll be a great guy. Pete, you know what you do? You show up to a barbecue with that bowl. You know that guy that shows up with the bowl with the cellophane on top to a barbecue?
That's
and you
usually.
Yeah.
I can't even talk. I just.
Yeah, when the kids can look in and go, oh, what do you got? What do you got? And you look in there and you got vegetables ready to be grilled on a. With coots.
Why don't we just throw some corn on the cob in tin foil and throw it on the grill? That might be
butter.
With some. Sure, with some butter.
You know that thing you put the vegetables in, that big bowl you brought? Throw the vegetables out, put the lobster in, throw some melted butter on top of it, and at least you brought something worthwhile. There you go. The two guys having so fun.
That's funny.
True barbecue and fondue guy. Thrills and adventure. We'll be back right after this on Everything Old is New Again. Continue talking about our show and the fun we had in 2019. Right after this.
Now, back to America's entertainment pop culture talk show. Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi there. This is Earl Monroe. You're listening to it. Everything Old is New Again.
Yes, you sure are. How about that Hall of Fame basketball player, New York Knicks champion, Earl Monroe on Everything Old is New Again for 2 shows. How about that?
You know, how often do you get, and I'm serious now, to speak with a Hall of Fame sports player, regardless of whether it's basketball, baseball, football, hockey, whatever it is. But someone, a true legend. That was really amazing. And it was a really good interview.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. This guy, I'll tell you, he's a great man. He is someone that went through adversity, lived through a time in America. It was not easy for him growing up, and he does not have a chip on his shoulder. He became successful. He overcame. He has a great attitude and advice for anyone going through a difficult time, how to overcome. I even asked him straight out, how do you have such a great attitude? He said, well, listen, the past is the past. I'm living for today, and you've got to enjoy every day and be optimistic. The guy, and what a gentleman. I mean, think about the time he spent with us. 2 characters. He kind of doesn't know us from anything except for me harassing his publicist, to try to get him on the show. And what he reminded me a little bit of Alan Alda, like a real big kind of name for us that was really nice to us.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a good parallel. That's the thing about our show is that, we do have celebrity guests occasionally, and you don't have to be a sports fan, or you don't have to be a fan of the celebrity, or even actually know who the celebrity it is. But when we do have people on talking, it's more about, with Earl Monroe, it's more about just sports, and with Alan Alda, it was more about just his career in acting. But we get really personal with these people, and I know personally, I always walk away from the interviews learning something, not only about them, but about life or about myself, and it sort of gets you thinking,
Right. We don't want to. We don't do interviews of these individuals for the purpose of just selling the book. Let's say.
Right.
We're going to promote the book. We've read the book. The book is terrific. They're on the show for a reason, but there's more to life than the book. And let's put it this way: what's in the book or whatever they're promoting is important, but I want to go beyond that. I want to learn about the person. What messages can we learn from them? What things can they teach us? And what compliments they can give. Everything Old is New Again is probably another. Now, we do sports. We talk about baseball. We've done that many times. We had a show where we had your buddy on for baseball. Remember?
A friend of mine, Bill Edelman. Yes.
Yep. And we spoke about the state of baseball with him. And we also made some predictions which may or may not have come true.
So we've got a really interesting World Series then, right? The Tampa Bay Rays and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yes.
Oh, I hope that's not true for baseball, because that would probably be the least watched series ever.
Well, have no fear. That didn't happen.
That did not happen.
However, let's look at this. In the National League...
Well, first of all, both teams, they made the playoffs.
Yes.
So
Tampa Bay, you took the American League, I took the National League. Your pick was an underdog, Tampa Bay, that went to the playoffs and won that little first round, that playoff in, and then they were competitive for sure.
Yep.
And they, against Houston, they went to, did they go to the 5 games? Pretty sure they did.
They won the wild card,
right? And they went to 5 games against Houston, which is not easy.
No,
so you were close.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was close.
And then in the National League, I picked Washington and St. Louis. And I picked St. Louis to beat Washington to get into the World Series.
You were close, too.
So I was 1 game off.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say 4 games off because Washington.
You were one series off.
Right, 1 series off. So we got kind of close for 2 boobs. We were kind of close. So that was fun to do. And then, again, continuing the sports, we had... if you remember...
It was a big year. It was an anniversary year of the 1969 New York Mets. Now, whether or not you live in New York or care about New York, the 69 Mets were, I hate to say it, but I guess they were America's team back in 69 because they were the Miracle Mets. It was quite a story, actually, way back when. And they were celebrating their 50th anniversary. So we were fortunate enough to have actual players come on and be interviewed.
Yeah, it was amazing. We had Skip Lockwood, who was a Met, but he wasn't on that team. He came later on. But he was somebody that I watched, so I sort of got a kick out of Skip Lockwood. He had a lot of nice, fun things to say behind the scenes and all that. So that show, if you want to hear that, is 264. And again, all these shows are now on the podcast on YouTube, Everything Old is New Again channel.
But we had some actual 69 Mets on.
We did. We really did. And we had a lot of fun. 2 shows with Ron Swoboda.
Look at this, 50 years later, and I have you on the show. What a privilege. And I wouldn't be doing it if I if I didn't get that autograph from you all those years ago, if that makes any sense.
Well, it does make sense. And how cool is that? Those kinds of connections in my life are the things that are important to me. There's no friends like old friends, and we were we were on this baseball team and a little harder to get to, but we weren't remote.
Right.
We were around, and we knew who we were playing in front of.
And that was a lot of fun with Ron Swoboda. And you may or may not know him. He's the one that, if you think about it, you see baseball and you see that World Series catch of somebody diving, and he catches the ball like an inch off the ground in right field. Of course, that's Ron Swoboda from the 69 Mets. I know we're going way back, so you may not remember everything. But he spent 2 shows with us, and he actually had a heart attack thereafter, and I wrote back to him afterwards, and he thanked us and all, but he's doing very well.
He's okay.
He really came back very well, but it was right before the heart attack. Hopefully we didn't upset or precipitate anything.
Yeah.
We can laugh about it now because he's in good shape. He's doing well. But he was a great guest and a lot of fun and very magnanimous, and I don't know, I really thought that he presented a great overall picture of not just the 69 year, but life in general.
Agreed.
He was really good. And then there was Art Shamsky, who wrote another book where
another Met.
Yep, another Met. He was shared right field with Ron Swoboda. They platooned. And they went to visit Tom Seaver with Jerry Koosman, Bud Harrelson, and, of course, Art Shamsky and Ron Swoboda together. And we spoke about that with Art Shamsky, had a lot of fun with him. And it's always nice to get a compliment.
Oh, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Great interview.
There we go. How about that?
And that's all he said.
That's
the
all
entire hour. Doug did talking, all the talking except for that short clip.
And that's it. Yeah. So that's all I'm going to say. No, he was great fun. They both have great books if you're looking for a Christmas gift, by the way, and you have a Mets fan or even just a baseball fan on the list. Either of these books are good. They're on Amazon.com. So there's our little talk about baseball. We did predictions. We spoke to your buddy Billy about the state of baseball and what, if anything, can be improved.
Diehard baseball fan, knows more about the sport than anyone I've ever known.
How about that?
But he was a good interview.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
A lot of insight.
Yep. And then we had these 3 guests from baseball: Skip Lockwood, Ron Swoboda, Art Shamsky, and Earl Monroe, the Hall of Famer. So do we continue? It's harder to get these celebrities, I should say. What am I saying? It's harder to get the sports athlete than the celebrity, believe it or not.
Is it really?
Yes.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
unless they're promoting something, right? They why would they come on?
Right.
And sometimes if they're actually still, most of the people we talk to are not playing anymore.
Right.
But,
right.
I guess they're busy with other projects.
Should I reach out to these people and ask them for referrals for others?
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
None of them are going to know anybody that's playing. Although Earl is in communication with a lot of players.
But here's the thing. If someone has a book, let's be realistic. If they have something to promote, they're more likely to come on. So
exactly.
Is there some way to find out what books are coming out, or I don't know, biopics about certain players, former players,
right,
and sort of get a leg up on it.
I do that all the time. Rick Ankiel, remember that guy from a baseball player that was
Sure.
a pitcher, and he had some psychological issue and he couldn't pitch anymore, and came back as a batter,
as an outfielder,
and an outfielder for St. Louis. He had a book. I wrote to them many times, couldn't get him on. Sometimes Ron Guidry's got a book, couldn't get him on.
Mm-hmm.
We had Jim Leyritz in the past. We had him on.
Leyritz, yeah.
So we try. If they have a book, trust me, I'm on it. And I'm trying to get them.
Let's see. Well, I'm just trying to think what would be the next 50th anniversary in 2020. Who won the World Series in 1970? Maybe we can get a Baltimore
Pirates,
Pittsburgh, somebody.
I don't know. Yes, I think Pittsburgh was 71. Baltimore was 70.
Yeah. How about Jim Palmer? Let's get Jim Palmer.
I don't. Yeah, I'll look at. What I should do is just pull out. The easy thing is get the roster for the team, and then just go to Amazon and see if they have a book.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Not too much work.
Right. They're probably they're probably going to go, somebody wants to interview me? For what? That was 50 years ago.
Well, speaking of which, we have Jerry Cooney coming up. The boxer.
Oh, right. That's right.
The Great White Hope, I guess they called him. He was from Huntington, which is my hometown and your hometown.
Yeah.
So we have, I don't know, that could be kind of interesting. We'll see how he's doing, how he's faring.
Jerry Cooney.
Cooney. He was a big hit. Remember him back in the day?
He was very big for a very brief moment in time.
He fought Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
For the championship of the world. So he wasn't a nobody.
He was a big-time boxer.
He beat Ken Norton.
Yep.
Or was it Ron Lyle? No, I think it was Ken Norton. And we'll look that up. I'll have to study a little bit more. But listen, he was a toast of the town. Then afterwards, he opened a bar, Cooney's, a sports bar in Huntington, and we used to go to that. And
was he the one that who was Rocky modeled after?
Rocky Graziano.
Was he?
Yes.
Thought. Okay. I thought it was one of those Jerry
No, because
Cooney
they were at the same
guys.
time. Rocky, the movie came out in 78 or 79,
Yeah.
and same thing with Cooney. It was the same time frame, so it
Okay.
wasn't him. All right, we'll be back right after this, and Everything Old is New Again. Continue talking all things Everything Old is New Again, and what we did with respect to Star Trek and William Shatner when we get back right after this.
Hi, this is Walter Koenig, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
This is Terrence Winter, writer and executive producer of The Sopranos, creator and executive producer of Boardwalk Empire, and the new Vinyl on HBO. And you're listening to my friends Douglas Viviani and David Cohen on Everything Old is New Again.
Hey, it's Dr. Peter Weller. I'm here with my friends David Cohen and Douglas Viviani on Everything Old is New Again, one of my favorite shows. And I may not be the most interesting man in the world, but I'm one of them.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dee Dee Sorvino, co-author of Pinot Pasta and Parties, along with your favorite good fella,
Paul Sorvino, and we are here to tell you that you should be listening every day, all day long. Wake up to it and sleep with it. Everything Old is New Again with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Hi, this is Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, and you're listening to Everything Old is New Again.
This is Bobby Clark for Everything Old is New Again, and a nostalgic look to the future.
This is Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Those I can't shake.
One of our favorites, Star Trek reference.
I have to say, the Shat could be a predecessor to rap, because if you think about it, he didn't try to sing.
Right.
He just did a spoken word interpretation with the musical accompaniment behind him, and I think it might have led to rap.
I agree with you. I think he created rap. I think he created the zombie craze. If we could only get him on the show.
Oh, man, I forgot about this, that if I said anything positive about Captain Kirk, you were going to go off on.
And there's, of course, our reference to Star Trek. I will say this to you, very controversial. It sounds ridiculous, but I think he might be one of the most successful actors turned singers, because everyone knows
that
what William Shatner sang. Lucy in the Sky with Diamond, right?
Oh,
and Mr.
God.
Tambourine Man, and there's so many people know.
Rocket Man.
Yeah.
And it's also, you know what it is? He also was, I think, one of the early pioneers of performance art. Where you just get up and you just perform whatever comes to your mind.
Go to YouTube, watch him Rocket Man, where he made them, and he did 4 or 5 different characters, and in the technology of the time, he spliced in the different characters.
So funny.
It's funny, but it was a little ahead of its time.
Yeah.
So I would love to do anything that was remembered half as much as what we're talking about right now. He did. How about that? We're trying to remember Everything Old is New Again 2019 here. And, boy, William Shatner came up as a banner year on our show, mentioned through a lot of different discussions.
I didn't see 2019 as being any different than prior years because he's always a topic of conversation. But I'll believe you.
Well, to explain, we have, for some reason, developed a penchant for producing a show every week that has some kind of Star Trek reference. It doesn't always happen, especially with the celebrity guests. That's hard to do. But on the other shows, we try to do... Inadvertently, it just comes up. He's done so much that you can do a Star Trek reference. Not he, but the show.
Oftentimes, it's kind of shoehorned in there. I wouldn't say it's sort of an organic thing that happens. Sometimes it's just out of left field. But yeah, but you do manage to get it in every show.
Thank you. And, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I think it was a kick for me to reach out to and have the doctor from the Voyager, Star Trek Voyager, on the show, Robert Picardo. And we had some technical difficulties there, and every so often we do. We've always improving our equipment here, but we had trouble that morning. Remember what happened that day trying to interview him?
Yeah, gosh, that was terrible.
Everything went down, and we had to basically, let me get this straight now. He called your cell phone,
right,
and you held the cell phone to
the microphone,
and that's how we got the interview. So if you hear it a little bit different sound-wise, it still was listened to a bull. But it worked out because he was the holographic image anyway, so he sounded holographic as he spoke about William Shatner.
Bill always remembers who I am, which with the many, many, many people he's met all in his life, and who knows if he's ever watched a single Voyager episode. He always remembers who I am. He always says hello. He's always very gracious to me. I am constantly amazed at how incredibly quickly his mind works.
How about that? As quickly as mind works. And, Shatner leaves a good impression, in my view, of everyone that's met him, except for Walter Koenig, who he had on the show.
Except for the people he worked with
on
the original show.
Exactly. Walter Koenig was not too complimentary. If you remember that interview, go back and you can find all of our old interviews on YouTube. Everything Old is New Again, radio. But there was Robert Picardo. I thought that was a nice pickup, no?
It was. But the big elephant in the room, when are you going to get William Shatner?
I'm going to try. I'm going to send him this clip of these 10 minutes through Kevin Burns and see if we can get some kind of connection.
Through Kevin? You think Kevin Burns will do that?
I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot. And or through Kevin Burns' people. Because I've done it through Shatner's people, and they're very good. They're very professional, very nice, and they respond, as does Henry Winkler's. Both are really very impressed. Because a lot of times you don't get responses. The responses are very quick. They're very detailed and complimentary and so forth. And George Lucas, by the way. Those three have great publicists because they turn you down in such a way that it makes you feel like you interviewed them. Anyway, so we'll I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot. But how about we listen to a little bit? We had Nicholas Parisi, who's an author about Rod Serling book. It's a great book. And we spoke to him trying to navigate through that. All of a sudden, Shatner comes up in that conversation. But that's William Shatner acting or overacting. I don't know. He didn't come out and say anything negative about William Shatner, though, did he ever?
Oh, no, absolutely not. And I got to say, William Shatner gives a terrific performance in Nightmare at 20,000 Feet and in Nick of Time, which is the episode you had mentioned about it. And Richard Matheson wrote both of those episodes. And Richard Matheson loved Shatner's performance in Nightmare at 20,000 Feet particularly.
And, of course, that plays right into my theory about Shatner being the grandfather of all things zombies, which is a different discussion for a different day.
He's the grandfather to all things, period, as far as you're concerned.
Absolutely. You kidding? Now, in addition to that, we had a nice discussion with Nicholas Meyer, who directed William Shatner. Along those lines, we just mentioned Kevin Burns, who's working now with William Shatner. And Kevin Burns is doing Unexplained with William Shatner. He's been on our show. I tried on the air a little bit of a hint to Kevin Burns to try to see if he could help us get Shatner on the show. I don't think he bit.
But I do think that there is a truth in the following. I don't think he has a lot of patience with people who he thinks waste his time.
Right.
In other words, I don't think he, quote-unquote, suffers fools well. So I think he gives as good as he gets. And if people are sincere and they're asking interesting questions and they're not trying to be foolish or exploit him, he's a tremendous, tremendous partner. In other words, I'm sure he can be difficult in some circumstances, but I do think that he really has a tremendous thirst for
knowledge, and he loves to be engaged, and he wants to be challenged. And I just find him a tremendous amount of fun to work with.
He's a kind of a Renaissance kind of a guy. I bet you he even would like radio and maybe even being on a radio show once in a while.
Oh, no. He would absolutely do it, and I know he has done it. And also he's very involved in charity. I mean, first of all, he's a horse fanatic. I mean,
he'll do it. Everything else, no mention of us. He's on a radio show.
I don't think Kevin really got your gist there.
No.
Like it was just sort of like, yeah, maybe he's interested in radio, and he went, yeah, I guess he would be.
And then on to the charity.
Yeah, but if you would have said maybe he'd be interested in our radio show, that might have hit home.
I sort of don't know him that well. I didn't want to put him on the spot that badly.
But sometimes those tongue-in-cheek sort of references can be taken lightly, and you don't commit the other person to one thing or another, but at least you plant the seed.
True. So
So this year's it's about seed planting.
Correct.
2020.
Exactly. We're going to be a little more forceful on or off the air to try to get people like Shatner on the. But I thought it was great because Kevin Burns is huge in Hollywood right now. He's responsible for like over 1,000 hours of television so far, and continuing with all these shows that he's got. The Oak Island is coming up, or actually is playing now, and they've made some great discoveries. That's an interesting show. Unexplained is interesting. Lost in Space on Netflix season 2 is coming up. I mean, this guy's got some great material. Of course, Ancient Aliens is season 13. So he's a happening guy.
He's a friend of the show. He's an official friend of the show.
As is Nicholas Meyer, who directed William Shatner. But we're talking to him, and I was trying to interface with him about, he's got a new book about Sherlock Holmes and his successor. We did a whole show on that with our characters. So I wanted to see if Nicholas Meyer has a sense of humor or not, where he would go with this. Let's just check this out.
I believe Detective Columbo would be my rightful successor.
Your heir apparent, if you will.
Yes.
That's a nice way to phrase it. I do phrase a nice phrase every now and again. Don't need credit for it whatsoever, but...
well, we're going to go with apparent successor, but good try.
No surprise there.
We're back on Everything Old is New again. Listeners of our show will recognize those two as our version of Holmes and Watson. Believe it or not, they're one of our most popular incarnations or most popular creations. We play Holmes as an egotistical self-promoter and gets credit for Watson is the one that's usually to solve the problem, but Holmes is the one that gets all the credit, so there's some tension there. Holmes and Watson have been alive and for a long, long time, and even a little show like ours, to kind of use them as characters is so much fun and take a different take on it. Do you agree, or do you even consider or think of anyone that could be a modern-day successor to Sherlock Holmes? Would it be Columbo? Would it matter? Do you even think about such things?
I don't know how much I think about Holmes' successor. I mean, clearly the model started with Don Quixote and Sancho Panza, and then there comes Holmes and Watson, and then there comes Batman and Robin. I'm wondering, I always loved Columbo.
So there we go. Another one of those. I love Nicholas Meyer. He did a great interview. We had a lot of fun with him. But another one that I literally played the clip of Holmes and Watson getting into the question, and it sort of like fell on deaf ears,
He was obviously impressed.
Exactly. That's why I fell off a bit, because I would have thought there'd be a chuckle before I got to the question. So I had to kind of change tack there a little bit because I didn't hear anything.
I'm just going to let that go. I have many things to say, but I will not say them.
You can't, because we're at a commercial break, and we'll be back right after this and Everything Old is New Again, and continue talking all things fun, pop culture, and Everything Old is New Again 2019.
You're listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's entertainment pop culture talk show with Douglas Viviani and David Cohen.
Paralyzing mandible claw applied. You're responsible for this, Goldust.
Welcome back to Everything Else Is New Again. I love that. This is Douglas Viviani with David Cohen applying the mandible claw, figuratively speaking, for the So I Was submission hold to the wild man Mark Murrow.
That must have been painful, Mark.
You know, I enjoyed the show up until about now, okay?
There we go. Welcome back to Everything Old Is New Again. That was a show that we did with wrestler Mark Murrow, which I thought was a fun show, no?
It was really fun, yeah.
Yeah, it was great to have a
guy.
wrestler, a real wrestler, and he wrestled all the biggies.
Yep.
And he had some great behind-the-scenes discussion, and, of course, he's a motivational speaker now for kids, and he does a great job. So, I don't know, I might think about having him back again if he would do it to talk more wrestling. I want to get into more wrestling with him.
If he will.
You know? Yeah, because he's really got a great attitude.
He does, and it was a really great interview.
Yeah, and he's doing important work now, which is nice to see. You know, he's really, if you go on YouTube, you look Mark Murrow up, you'll see a speech he's doing, and just trying to keep kids on the straight and narrow. It's really a lot of fun to hear the way he parlayed and parlays his championship into what he's doing now. Now, I love a show called Mystery Science Fiction Theater 3000.
Yes, as do I.
And did you realize it's 30 years old? It's the 30th anniversary?
I know.
Is that unbelievable?
It's crazy.
It feels like and everyone feels they discovered this show.
Right.
You know, because no one really talked about it, but everyone...
No, when it was on, it was initially on. No one knew about it, except the diehards.
It was like a dirty secret, though, too. Like,
Right.
you didn't tell anybody else about it. You sort of watched it and went on with your day, you know? Like it was a Saturday afternoon when you're cleaning the house. That's on.
Right,
And you know,
right.
But it's that show with the silhouette of the person that's watching an old bad movie with two what they look like, if you know
Robots.
the show, robots. And we got the host and creator of that show. He's a host for 5 years, but he created the show, Joel Hudson. And man, he was a great interview, a lot of fun. He knew Seinfeld. He worked with Seinfeld for a while, and Seinfeld inspired him back in the day to do what he's doing. And I don't know, I had a great fun discussion with him, and we hit a little something here about trying to figure out his motivation behind creating that show.
Absolutely. I mean, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, but I guess you're right. They used footage and kind of collaged it with what Steve Martin was doing. So you're right about that. What's Up Tiger Lily was profoundly amazing to me, and probably the biggest impact. So yeah, I mean, and also too in music, there was stuff going on that was really interesting. Like in the George Harrison song "Cracker Box Palace," there's a moment where he references Blazing Saddles, and he does the Madeline Kahn line. He goes, "It's true, it's true." So when I hear that, I go, "Oh, what's better than that? George Harrison knows about Mel Brooks." That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to kind of paint with those kind of jokes, and so I just getting to create my own art form made it so I could do it kind of the way I saw it, which was already out there. If you think, like, all the references you're talking about were already out there. And in our case, Everything Old Is New Again, because we brought the show back, and it's just as popular as it ever was.
There we go. So if you hear that interview, and that interview's a recent one, show 284, I mentioned those movies, What's Up Tiger Lily and the others, and he agreed with me and said absolutely, and it was nice to actually be on the same level. I never met the guy, I had no idea.
And that was good to hear, because I also had thought that must have been the trigger. What's Up Tiger Lily? Which also, if you haven't seen, you should check out.
Yes,
it's really
and in time maybe we'll never have Woody Allen on the show.
He would never do this.
He doesn't. But you know, the only reason why I would say we consider it is he does nothing else. So wouldn't it be a kick for a guy to go, "Yeah, I'm going to do some some little radio show"? Like it'd be an awkward thing that he would do.
He would not.
Never.
Never.
And what do you say?
Because he doesn't. First of all, he doesn't grant interviews, and second of all, if he does, why us?
Because I just think it's so awkward, so different that he would do it. Like, I'm not going to do the Tonight Show, but I was going to do this radio show.
Because he's going to be afraid that the subject is going to come up.
Yeah,
especially people he doesn't know, and
we could agree ahead of time what we're going to talk about.
We could agree all we want, but as soon as he doesn't know when he comes on what we're actually going to do.
Right.
So it's just another reason for him not to do interviews.
Yeah.
And I would.
It's too bad, his whole life is too bad because he's so talented. But all this other stuff is really weird. Yeah. But okay, we'll get off of that and get on to barbecue and fondue guy trying to agree upon a movie in show 269. And sometimes we, with these characters, we have a little idea with what's going to happen, but then something happens that takes us off the path. We'll see what happens.
Let's move forward. I have another movie suggestion that you and I would, I believe, really appreciate this one. It's called La Flor. It was an Argentinian movie. And I think the reason you and I would enjoy it mostly is because of the time we would get to spend together watching it. The movie is 14 hours long.
What?
Yes, 14 hours long.
Say it again.
The movie is 14.
I don't even work 14. I don't even sleep 14 hours long. What am I doing 14 hours with you? In the theater? In the dark? All right, wait a minute. Let's just hear a couple of seconds of this.
Sure.
And the days grow short. And they all
Esta película es así. Son 6 historias.
For those of us who are not fluent in Spanish. Wow. You really lost. All right, let's get back to it. All right. You okay?
I have to hear that again. I didn't give it. I don't.
All right,
right the first time.
Then I'll come in.
And the days grow short. And they all
Esta película es así.
That's it?
Well, for those of us who are not fluent in Spanish, there are subtitles. So
I'm going to be reading a book on the screen for 14 hours. You're telling me?
Well, if you've never seen films with subtitles, you'll know, and you can trust me on this one, that if the film is intriguing enough, you actually forget that you're reading the subtitle. That's a great line. I'm going to be reading a book on the screen for 14 hours. I'm glad that we cracked up when we were doing it, and then we're cracking up now on listening to it again. Wow, Doug, too bad this isn't on video. Doug is in tears as we're speaking. He can't. He's drying his eyes with his shirt. Just to give you some reference points.
It's so ridiculous a concept. And to have that character just pointed out.
But only the fondue guy would come up with a 14-hour movie.
Right, exactly.
and try to sell it.
And not only does 14 hours, there's subtitles. And we did not plan that. We didn't know that. We didn't.
Well, I mean, we
didn't know what the guys were going to say. I mean, these guys take over. You don't have any idea.
Yeah, I mean, we know what movies the characters are going to bring up, but when you actually hear the clip of the movie, because it's only a theory. Like, we didn't go and see the movie, but when you hear the clip being played, sometimes those clips just trigger just the laughs. It's crazy.
It's insane. Once a year that happens, I think. I remember the year before. Once a year, we just lose it. And I didn't edit that out at all. I just left it in.
That's great.
Hopefully the audience enjoys that. I mean, come on. You got to look behind the scenes. It's two fools doing what they're doing and having some fun doing it. Now, just to finish off, we're doing the best of here, and we had some fun doing that. One of the most recent shows we did was with Fondue Guy's son for Halloween, and that show was 286. And it was a real shot in the dark, because it was sort of a one joke kind of a thing that we thought would work at the end, which I will play. But it took a long time to get there. I hope it worked. We think it did, but it just came from one thought of what is Fondue Guy's son like, and David had come up with something with Leo was in the audience the studio one day.
Yeah, I was kind of just fooling around. Leo, trying to be like the English version of Leo.
And trying to get him to be in a good mood or something. Yeah. I asked Leo, how does it sound with the earphones? And he said medium or something, and then you said...
But father, I can't hear you.
Something like that. And I said, that's a good character, let's do that. So we went with it, and it was fun to do, hopefully a fun listen. And again, it was on a holiday, so...
we built a show around a voice.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the end of that show after all this time with this kid we think is going to be an innocent little kid, and he really has got some dark
Oh, yeah, he's
insides.
Deeply disturbed kid.
Yes, but he doesn't sound that way.
No.
Because he has the English accent.
He's that sweet voice.
Right, so Captain Bolzik and Pumpkinhead come in for the Halloween party, Fondue and Barbecue have had enough for this kid. They can't take it anymore.
Yeah, they just pawn him off on the other two characters.
This is how it ends. Let's see if it works.
Guys, can you take Nigel?
Let's go, kid. Let's go.
Yeah, follow us. Come on, kids.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. Hey, have you seen the movie Hostel 3?
Oh, listen, for a kids' movie, I'm in.
There we go. His poor unsuspecting, what's the name? Pumpkinhead. I wonder if Pumpkinhead will come back to explain his experience with that kid.
The movie Hostel. What was it, Hostel 3?
Yeah.
Some bizarre,
horrible
cut him up, slice him up movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you're enjoying our show, please continue to enjoy it. If not, try to enjoy it. Give it an open mind and another chance. Sometimes shows work, sometimes they don't. I don't know. But we'll be back next week, back on track with Everything Old is New Again and the best of entertainment pop culture. Come on back.
Everything Old is New Again is sponsored by the law office of Douglas Viviani. Douglas Viviani has been providing quality legal service for over 26 years. We're a general practice firm and can handle any legal matter you may have for a reasonable fee. If you're involved in a car accident, starting a business, planning your estate, or need a criminal attorney, please call 631-681-1910 or email us at vivianilaw@aol.com for a free consultation. Get the justice you deserve. Contact the law office of Douglas Viviani at vivianilaw@aol.com.
You've been listening to Everything Old is New Again, America's pop culture entertainment talk show. Find us on the web at everythingoldisnewagain.biz. That's .biz.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.